I used to never have girlfriends. I was a guy's girl. Because guys talk about ideas, and girls, I felt, talk about people. So today I'm gonna teach you all the tools to help get you back in the moment. Ask yourself questions like, how can I have more fun, right? So one of the things that I do in those moments is I'll move my body. We make over 30,000 subconscious decisions a day. And so the most powerful thing that we can start to do today is create an... Hi, everybody. Thank you, Kelly. That talk was amazing. I'm really excited it was like the perfect segue into this one. I want to thank Oksana and Carrie. This is, I've been to a lot of events, and this is like by far the most special group. I'll talk about it in these slides today, but I truly believe that when we show up for ourselves, when we live in alignment, when we listen to that intuitive voice, we're rewarded. We're rewarded with opportunities and people and connections. And I feel that this moment today is a result of me doing that. Like, I am so grateful to be here. I've loved my conversations that I've had with some of you so far, and I hope to get time with each and every one of you. So truly special, so thank you. So Kelly, one of my favorite things that you just said was, to listen to that inner voice. And Peter touched on it too. We're inundated with knowledge, and it's really important to get back to that wisdom. And we truly are our own master and healer and our best guide. And I want to know, how many of you believe that? Like, how many of you believe that to be true? Okay. How many of you feel that you actually have all the tools to tap into that? Or would like more of them? That's what we're going to do today. So I'm super excited to bring this talk to this audience because you guys are so tapped in, so this is going to be really fun. I changed up my talk literally this morning, and two of my favorite words are connection and community. And Sarah touched on it yesterday. And the other Sarah in her presentation, which was incredible, dropped so much knowledge, like so much of it was over my head. I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose, to be honest. But my two favorite things were like the things that she said at the end that I think were kind of vulnerable. They're the things that make her very unique and different. She talked about her love of aliens and her love of gymnastics. And those are the things that I love to know about people, because I think, we're not only in an age of so much information, but we're in an age of over-filtered perfection. And it doesn't create connection, it does the opposite. And so Sarah inspired me, and so I'm going to actually start my slideshow with a really important story. So I hope Sarah comes. So when I was young, I was a gymnast. And it was like my favorite thing to do. I remember I would be training with my coach, and when the other gymnasts were practicing and I was waiting my turn, I would literally look at the arena, and I'm like, one day I want to be in this arena alone with my coach, and I want him to just be pushing me and training me. Because I think what was happening for me in gymnastics is I was so in my body. I was so connected to my true self. And I was naturally really good at gymnastics, but I was also very shy. And so when I was 10 or 11, I made team, and it was time to compete, and I quit. I quit my dream. And I don't know if any of you have ever had that dream that you quit. There's like the things that you want to do, and then there's like that secret dream that you're like, I really let that one get away. And I never even said it out loud, but literally when I watched my friends on Facebook and their daughters are at the gymnasium that I trained at, Great Lakes Gymnastics, I'm like, oh, I feel it. And so a couple of years ago, I was at a really cool event like this, and I said it out loud for the first time. I was like, my dream is to always go back to gymnastics. And this man, who's become a close friend of mine, was like, well, go. And I said, Max, it's not that easy. And he's like, only because you're choosing that. And Max planted a seed in me at that day. And I think what's really important to understand is, that quote, you never know how far reaching something you do or say will go. Because he planted a seed in me. And when I went home, I asked my kids' gymnastics coach to train me. And I was 42 at the time, and I expected him to just laugh in my face. And he was like, crazy, you should ask. We're starting an adult class next week, why don't you come? So I go. So I go to this adult class. It's just me and him, alone in the arena. So nobody else showed up, but how cool, my past self met my future present self. My dream as a little girl of being in the arena alone with my coach because I was brave enough to ask, to put myself out there, to believe in my wish and dream. So I trained with Dimitri that day. We did like a 45-minute session, had all the guilt for being away from my kids at dinner time, like all the things we all feel, right? Dude, when I walked in that door to my husband and I was like, oh my God, do not ever let me quit. Like this energy that I'm bringing into our home, to our family, it's fire. So fast forward a few months, I'm training with Dimitri twice a week. He's like, hey, we're having a competition. You should come. Remember, I quit before my competition. The competition is 8 to 12-year-olds. I'm like, you know what, F it, I'll go. So I went, and I have a video for you all. I don't know if we have volume. That's all those are my competitors. My song happened to come on, This Girl Is on Fire, happened to come on. She's like, I did it. I got a medal. I competed. It was a show. We all won. But I did it. I mean, my 12-year-old son wanted to die. So you see the row. I mean, it's probably not even 8 to 12-year-olds. It's like 6 to 12-year-olds. So there's the row of little girls, like looking at, I mean, how cute is that? These little girls looking at me, right? Like, who knows what that did to them? Who knows what seed that planted in them to not forget about that version of themselves? Behind me is my son with all his friends, just like, oh God, Mom. But also, the biggest wish for our kids is to take our stress and to see us having more fun. Really, if you boil it down. And so as much as my son was like a cringe factor, he was so lit up. He was so lit up. Behind the kids was a group of moms there to watch their kids. And the number of moms and women that came up to me after and said, thank you. You reminded me I've lost myself amidst my career, amidst doing everything for my kids, doing what I thought I'm supposed to be here to do. You reminded me to get back to myself, so thank you. So I share that story because I hope it reminds you. And I also share that story because these are the pieces of me that I used to hide from the world. These are the pieces of me that I thought were weird or out there, but these are the pieces that connect us. So when I get to meet with you guys, in all the conversations I've had the coolest conversations because you guys are so cracked open. You guys are so real. I don't want to talk about the weather. I used to never have girlfriends. I was a guy's girl because guys talk about ideas and girls, I felt, talk about people. I don't want to talk about people. I want to talk about what lights you up. I want to talk about what cycles you're breaking, Tracy. I want that stuff. So I say all this to say, too, like, I want this to be a conversation. I want this to be interactive. And, you know, science shows that you retain 10% of the information that you hear, but you'll remember at least 60 to 70% of the information that you interact with and you write down. So let's interact. Okay, I have a question for you all. Jaira, could I get water? I'm like so parched. How many of you, despite having all the tools, all the knowledge that we all have, how many of you at any point have felt, at least part of you, stressed, overwhelmed, burnout, a feeling of, I can't do this, let's not let it explode this. No. Thank you so much. All of you, right, at some point? Okay, next question. How many of you, at least a part of you, felt like it was your fault? Maybe if I do more, maybe if I meditate more, maybe if I sun gaze more, ice bath more, I love my ice bath. Maybe if I meal prepped better, then I would feel better. How many of you have felt that way? We're living in a system of self-care that's not designed for us. It's not working. It's another to-do on our massive list. But instead of looking at the system as being a failure, we're putting the blame on ourselves. We've become experts at this, and it's time to stop. So in this talk, I aim to arm you with all the tools to help you understand that. So these feelings of stress or overwhelm that we all feel are not an indicator that you're flawed or broken. They are now one of your most important signals that you are in misalignment. So today I'm going to teach you all the tools to help get you back in the moment when we actually need it, into alignment. Sound good? All right, so we're going to talk a lot about the nervous system, because that's going to be the key. Everything I talk about is going to be a 2-minute tool or less, so this is going to be super practical. And this is going to be less about doing. Again, we're like overdoing. We're just putting tons of Band-Aids on a bullet hole. And this is going to be getting back to who we be. All right, so a little bit of background about me. Before creating my brand, Be Inspired Mama, I've got some swag for you guys, those bookmarks. And mama to me is a loose term. Every woman is a mama. It's every woman, because we all nurture and take care of people, animals, whatever. I was a practicing chiropractor. I'm still a chiropractor. I very much do everything through the chiropractic lens, because as chiropractors, we are nervous system specialists. And the paradigm that I was working through in my hands-on practice with patients was that my job is to remove the interference. I love the chiropractic lens because we truly believe, like all of you guys, that the body is a miracle. If the body is sick or expressing disease, there's something not right. The body is not failing us, the environment is. And so I was focusing on removing physical interference through the adjustment. I was removing chemical interference by working with patients on ketosis and fasting and detox and all the protocols. I was working through emotional stress by just simply creating space. I'm an ICPA diplomate. That's the International Chiropractic of Pediatric Association. So a lot of my patients were women and babies, but I also supported the men. You know, this was working for a while. But I started to see these patterns and I got really curious. So as a chiropractor, I always like to get to root cause. And a lot of these women were coming in with like the same thing over and over again. I'm like, if I just keep adjusting L4 and putting you in ketosis, like there's something I'm missing. And so I got really curious. And I was like, what if it's the nervous system? So the body is self-healing because the nervous system is the master controller. And so as a chiropractor, you remove interference on the nervous system and you let the body do its thing. It's very much respected. The healing process is not from me, it's from you, right? But that's the catalyst. So what if it's the nervous system? And so that's, in the last decade, that's what I've geeked out on, the science, and it is. And I think for so long, you know, I heard Carrie talk about it, like, you could clear out all your EMF, but if you're under stress, it doesn't matter, which is very true. But I felt, at least for me, for a long time, I didn't know what to do with that information. I'm stressed. And now stress is bad, so like, now I'm more stressed. So I'm gonna teach you how to work with the nervous system in real time. There's a lot of really cool talk about the mitochondria here, right? And so if the mitochondria is in a survival state, like how that can impact our health. I'm gonna teach you about the piece that comes before the mitochondria, the amygdala, a very important part of our nervous system. And if you can regulate the amygdala, everything else downstream will figure itself out. I wanna share a story about my daughter, Kaya. And this is like a really good example of how and when these tools work, and I didn't have other tools for these moments. So the other day I was getting the kids out to school and like loading the car for school, and we were running late. And I hate to be late, I get like super anxious. Like I was born early, I'm always early, I hate to be late. And I'm in like full-on beta mode. Like we're gonna talk about brainwaves, I'm in full-on beta mode, like get shit done, like go, go, go. And Kaya's nowhere to be found. And so I'm looking in the house, I'm looking in her room, she's in her room, I'm ready to be like, go, 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 go. She's having a moment, she's having a breakdown. Her best friend just moves away and she's crushed. And she like found a picture of her and she's having a moment. And so in that moment, I need to go from here to here. I can't get on my puff mat, I can't sun gaze, I can't put my face in ice. That moment, I need to bridge the gap. Because as a mom, you hear so many times, enjoy every moment, it goes too fast, right? And I think that's a bullshit phrase because so many moments are not enjoyable. But the key is, Have the ability to be present in every moment so that you can connect and you don't miss them. That's what you're going to learn today. Okay, so I want you guys to think of a word that best describes your nervous system states. What is your default nervous system state? And you'll usually find it really quick when you wake up. And I want you to go with like a, I don't like the word good or bad, but like a challenging one, a bad one. Like, do you find stress really easily? Do you feel anxious a lot? Do you feel chaotic? Peter probably just feels light and love all the time. So think of that word, and this is really important. I want you guys to write it down because this is part of the work we're going to do. So think of that word. So like for so long, mine was stress. My default was stress. So I could have a great day, I could have a great moment, I could have a great connection with all my people at this new event, but I would find myself experiencing stress and I didn't know why. So think of your word and write it down, and I'll just kind of give you guys a minute. But this is really important. I want you to get this, so take a minute. Okay, so remember that word, we're going to come back to it. Just so you know, when you experience these feelings of stress, overwhelm, chaos, despite all the tools, despite all the knowledge, we need more of the wisdom. We're going to impart more wisdom today. It's not your fault. This is a result of your nervous system. It's not because you're broken. We're just running an outdated system. Here. So stress mode is not an indicator of a personal failure. Our nervous system, in most cases, has been designed to keep us in a state of survival for protection. And we're going to retrain it to do the opposite. Our nervous system views anything unfamiliar as unsafe. It flags it as a threat to our survival, and it will ramp up cortisol. So that makes sense if you're actually in a situation that threatens your survival, but how many times do we experience stress or chaos because we're on stage, or we're in a new environment, or someone sent a crappy email, right? So it's in those moments, instead of reacting, that you can get back and find your center. Your nervous system is a portal. I love how Peter talked about, we have a lot of knowledge. We need to get back to the wisdom. I agree. I think we're in an age of too much information, and we're losing touch with ourselves. Your nervous system is the portal to the wisdom. This is your gateway to your eldest ancestor who's like speaking down truths to you. This is your portal to your intuition. There are a lot of cycle breakers in this room. This portal is how we break the cycle of living the stories that came before us and create our own. What we're also doing is we're knocking down the old model of self-care from being something outside of us to something that's inside. We're no longer outsourcing our power. We're no longer having a bad day because someone cut us off in traffic or the coffee shop wasn't open or I didn't get 20 minutes in my red light, I wanted 30. It's none of that. We're also no longer having to fit in these busy practices at the end of a day that pull us more away from our loved ones or finding our center, relaxing. It's no longer a to-do item. I love all these tools. I use them often. But we're changing the paradigm of self-care, and it's now connection. And instead of being something that's power outside, or instead of being in a mode of stress and trying to power over it, I feel stressed, let me put more stuff on it, let me put more to-dos on it. This is power from within. This is you. And in the age of all these tools, I've been in the biohacking space for 15 years. It's really beautiful to see, not this crowd, you guys know, but regular people that would use drugs, going to these tools. It's incredible. It's also really disempowering. I was with Oksana at a huge biohacking conference. It's disempowering to see people put more power into the tools than in themselves. All these tools are doing is getting us back into nervous system regulation. So that's great, but let's do it by ourselves without the tools. Let's have both and. Okay, so how many of you know about cycle syncing? Okay, so for those of you who don't, cycle syncing is a really cool tool for helping us live in alignment. A lot of my language is going to be around women. I work with mainly women, but this applies to men too, and I'll talk about why that is in a minute. But cycle syncing is a really cool system because it helps us understand why, as women, our feelings, our energy fluctuates throughout the month. And so what cycle syncing does is it gives us a permission slip. Cycle syncing will remind you that the week before your period, there's not something wrong with you when you don't have all the energy. There's not something wrong with you when you don't want to go socialize. You are in your most intuitive phase, and cycle syncing reminds you to honor that. Cycle syncing teaches you that there's not something wrong with you. It teaches you that if you trust and if you listen, and if you go back to rhythm and alignment with yourself, you will get so much clarity and insight from going into that moment, into that week, instead of judging yourself for not being as excited to go out as your girlfriend. So cycle syncing is very empowering because it's knowledge, it's information, it's tools, and that's what we're gonna do today with the nervous system. Okay, so I want you to pick a new word. So the old word you talked about, my old word was stress. And subconsciously, I would find opportunities to create stress in my life. I would wake up without realizing it. This is a really powerful practice. Tomorrow, tap into this. Before my eyes were even open, I would ask myself questions. Whatever questions you ask, you're gonna find the answer to. I would say, how am I gonna get it all done today? Who needs me? Right? So my brain will find opportunities to fill those answers and create stress. So I want you to create a new word. What's a word of how you want to feel? Mine is fun, if anyone wants to borrow that one. So take a minute and pick your word. So alignment is a feeling, and your nervous system guides the way. So your nervous system is the portal to wisdom. Your nervous system is the portal. When you hear someone say, you know the answers, you have it in you, and you're like, where do I find them? It's your nervous system. And when you know how to get into alignment, everything connects and you get the answers. You get that clear channel and message. So whatever you have written down as your new word, that becomes your North Star. So think about if you were to set like a compass, right? You set your compass, mine is fun. It used to be stress, mine is fun. In any of my day, no matter what I'm doing, when I feel stress or chaos, when I feel overwhelmed or like I can't get it done, I'm like, how can I find fun? That's how I find my center. And you start to ask really intentional questions. And there's a part of your nervous system. This isn't just like woo-woo, guys. This is nervous system. This is science. There's a part in your brain, it's called the reticular activating system. It's the RAS for short. The RAS is your filter. And so in any given second in our day, we are bombarded with sensory information. Lights, sounds, words, textures, feelings. It's too much. And so our nervous system, our RAS, filters it out. And the way it determines what it filters for you to see, what it focuses on, is what you train it to see. It's the questions that you ask. So probably a lot of you have experienced the RAS at work. If you have ever thought, like, I'm gonna get a new car. I'm gonna get a new car, and instead of getting like that sensible car, I'm gonna get that red sports car. And all of a sudden you see red sports cars everywhere. Or I'm looking for a resource for blah, 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 and someone shows up with it. That is your RAS, and so you've trained it to look for those opportunities. Okay, quick message for the men. A lot of my languaging is around women, females. Females are very rhythmic and cyclical, we all are, but men, you also have a nervous system, so this all applies to you too. But for the women, what I want you to know and understand is the men of like this age are so interested in helping support us. They're so interested. I have a very women-centric platform. Half my audience is men. And the messages that I get from men are so beautiful because they're like, thank you, I now know how to support my wife. I now know how to support my girlfriend. And, you know, men are like, they want to be the superheroes, right? Like, she feels amazing, I did that. And I think we can be seen as like very complicated, but we're actually very simple. It's just that we're cyclical, we're not black and white. And so guys, one of the coolest things you can do is understand cycle syncing, because what that will turn into is knowing, you know, this week my girlfriend, my wife might not want to do a workout together, but she's probably going to love if I bring her tea and bread. This is how you connect with her love language. And when you support a woman's rhythm, look out, right, ladies? We don't want to be fixed. We're not broken. We just want to be seen, supported, and loved. Okay, let's get to it. So our brain operates in rhythms, and we're often working against them. So we can think of these rhythms as like gears in a car. So just like every gear in a car has a specific task. For instance, you wouldn't go on the highway in gear 1 of a manual car. Our brainwaves are the same, and they're a daily rhythm. So this is what's really cool. So cycle syncing allows you to reset and realign throughout the month with like a weekly rhythm. Brain syncing is moment to moment. So you can literally be thrown into stress, and in the next moment know exactly how to get back into alignment. So they're super powerful. What we've been doing for the most part is we've been overriding one brainwave, beta, and neglecting the rest. So we're burning them out. Here are my buddies. This is like one of the most important slides. If you want to take a picture, I think you guys get the slides. This is the dream team. And I have about 4 more slides. We're going to, 4 more slides on this. We'll go through the time of the day. I'm going to teach you the action step. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know for these. This is just like the introduction. So I like to personify the brainwaves because it helps us remember them. So we're going to think about them as like your girlfriends, right? So Theta is the dreamer. She's like the one who's just kind of like always just little whatever. She's like super free and whimsical. She is super creative. She's very intuitive. She has incredible emotional insight. And she's always making time to daydream and connect. Alpha, kind of a similar vibe. She's really good at calm focus. She's a really good connector. She lives in flow states. And when you're with your alpha friend, you feel like time stops and you're the only person in the room. Beta, she's our go-getter. She's our high energy. She is the one that most of us live in all the time, and then we wonder why we're fried. Her task is productivity, logic, task execution. She's like the CEO. She's I call it GSD, get stuff done. Then we've got Gamma. Gamma is the visionary, and she just drops in and like, boop, like tells you the exact thing you need to hear, and then just like disappears. And then Delta, she's our healer. So she's like the Reiki practitioner. She's just like that massager. She's like that low key. You feel your parasympathetics in Delta. All right, so when we are living out of alignment with our brainwaves, it's like we're trying to listen to a phone call that's super staticky. So we're getting a message, but it's either not clear or it's fuzzy, or it's like we're looking through the world with someone else's prescription lenses. So we see everything, but like we're not sure. So when we're living out of alignment with our brainwaves, this is when we second guess ourselves. You know, we've heard people say like, you'll just know. You just know how long to do this, how much to do this. Well, like what? I mean, I think they said 10 minutes. Like, When we're in alignment, you know. So these tools are going to help you stop outsourcing your power and know in the moment what's right for you. What happens is the more we start to listen to that message, to that intuition, to that wisdom, the more we start to let our nervous system be our guide, the louder and more clear it gets. How do you know when you're out of alignment? These are the signs. Do you guys ever remember, I put the shopping cart down here. Do you remember the PMS commercial with the lady with the shopping cart? Does anyone remember that? It was for like an over-the-counter PMS medication. And the lady's like trying to get the shopping cart out, and it's like stuck, and she's like, and then she's like full on crazy mode pulling it. That's how you know. It's when the littlest things set you off and you're like, oh my God, oh my God. Or it's when you're so tired, all you can do is doom scroll. And you know it's not great for you, but you don't know what to do instead. That's when you're out of alignment. When you're in alignment, when you choose to train your nervous system to find your word minus fun, you still get it all done. You just start to like the way that you show up as you do it. How we got here, in my opinion, again, I love all these tools. I use all these tools. These tools like saved my life. But we're already inundated with to-dos, and now it's like, okay, I got to look at the sun. I got an ice bath. I got to figure out my hormones because I know that's something. I have all these to-dos. I got to read the books. I got to listen to the podcasts. I have a podcast. I love podcasts. I got to take care of my kids and their schedule, but I can't put them on screens while I'm doing my work. When they're emotional and I'm stressed, I got to meet them and be nurturing and enjoy every moment. Like you get it, right? So we need a different system. So learning how to live in accordance with your brain waves is about listening to trust your own voice again, or trusting using your own voice again, but this isn't just the outer voice I'm talking about, it's the inner. So I wonder how many of you have ever heard that voice, but second-guessed it? And how many of you have regretted it?
No.
Yeah. Because the stuff it says is crazy, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. But when you follow it, have any of you ever heard the crazy and followed it as well? And you're like, hell yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, I want to get to it because we've got to. Okay, so here's a really important system. You guys can take a picture, write this down. This is the 5 Ps, and this is your new flow for your day. So when I'm working with women on this system, and I'm like, this is so much less about what you have to do, and this is about who you be, and they're like, okay, but what do I do? So I'm going to teach you about that. So in the morning, and we'll go into more details on like timing and how long and all that, we want to pause. That's the main focus. So first thing, when we wake up, before our eyes are even open, it's like taking that conscious time to connect and not get on our phones, right? I think a lot of you know this. You probably already do this. Then we want to prepare. This is all ideally before like the laptop opens, before the emails, before the blue and white light, before the world is awake, or the world is like knocking at our door. Then we hit produce. This is like our get stuff done mode. Throughout our produce, we pulse. This is where you start to no longer need the 1-hour self-care appointment, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do. But you're going to take these micro moments that you actually have during the day, and instead of just grabbing our phone, because that's what we do an internal audit of our question. Instead of who needs me, what email do I need to catch up on so I can rest at the end of the day, or I can finally rest at the weekend? No, because then we train our nervous system how to not rest. And so we don't know how when we finally get the time. In those micro moments, we are going to microdose connection. We're going to ask, how can I have more fun today? And we're going to find the answer. That is self-care. Then at the end, we're going to plan. We kind of like clean off our day. We make our to-dos for the next day. This is like it's like a little bit of heady work, but like not super intense. And then we're going to roll right into peace. This is like the evening wind down. And I don't know about you, but I've known like evening wind down is so important. Again, this is like a very educated audience. But so often for me, I'd be like, it's okay, I'm going to just answer that last email. It's okay, I'm just going to like do that one more thing so that tomorrow's easier. But having this information is what makes you stop, because this is so important to protect so that you can go into Delta the healer. Okay, so some more information on these, because this is your dream team. This is the how. This is what you go to. So in the morning, Theta, our word is pause. So people who meditate for years and years work really hard to get into a state of Theta and Alpha, and we wake up in it. Theta is the gateway to our subconscious. Theta is the gateway to God, to source, to intuition. We wake up in it, but what happens is subconsciously we take ourselves out. And the things that we do that take ourselves out are light, emails, anything that will throw us into beta. So everyone here has talked about light, everybody here knows light, but this is like the most important time to protect your light environment. The action step in Theta is to listen. And this isn't listen to the podcast, this is listen to you. Listen to what questions you wake up with. You might not like them, but they are an insight into what your body, your soul, your nervous system is begging for. Oksana listens to those questions. Your life dramatically changed. Those are going to be the questions. It's like, I don't like this relationship. I don't like where I'm living. I don't like my friendship circle anymore. What do I do? Those questions. Okay, then we go into Alpha. Alpha is where we can channel those questions into like a conversation. So Alpha is a really good time to journal, to have like, I call it like a call and response with yourself. Danny talked about a really powerful book, Journal Speak. I'm working on getting her in the book club. Such a good book. We have so much insight and clarity, and we have so much to say, we've just stopped listening. If all you took from this whole talk is spending time in Theta and Alpha, you win. It's huge. You're rewiring and retraining your nervous system. Next is Beta. This is where we produce. Oh, going back, alpha. So if you're someone who in the mornings, like I think we all have a lot to do, if you're an alpha, you're trying to like meditate, do all these things, and your mind is like, let's go. Like, I got stuff to do. What's really cool is you can bioharmonize by looking at a flickering flame. So the mirror neurons in our brain will respond to looking at a candle, a bonfire, and will match that frequency, and that frequency will put you into alpha. So I'm going to go back to theta for a minute. So theta is our gateway to our subconscious. It's our intuition. It's where we listen. What I have the women in my community do is create what I call a sit spot. So in the morning before you're even awake, you like saunter off to this spot and you sit, and this is where you listen. And just like if you wanted to establish a new practice of like a workout routine, starting early in the morning, you would set your workout clothes out the night before, right, to set yourself up for success. So your mind doesn't get active and talk you out of it. The sit spot is super helpful for theta. Alpha is the journal. The candle will help you hardwire into that. I'm running out of time. I have so much more. Beta is where we produce. Action step in beta is to do your focused work. Turn on do not disturb. This is not where you're going in and out, right? You focus on what you need to do and you check your emails, your messages, et cetera after. We go into alpha again at night to help connect, wind down. Theta is our evening routine so that we can go into delta, which is our deep restoration. This is where we heal. This is where we make lectin. This is where all the magic of our nervous system gets a chance to thrive. This is where the lymphatics of our brain actually get to clean out everything. This is like the clearing of the palate. A great day starts with a great night's sleep, and a great night's sleep starts with your theta wind down time. Throughout our day, this is really important. We pulse. We're not just grinding our marathoner all day. We are pulsing micro moments and breaks of connection. So this is, starting to ask yourself questions like, how can I have more fun, right? So one of the things that I do in those moments is I'll move my body, I'll get on my bike, I'll do handstands. One of the women in my community used to tap dance. She loved to tap dance, and so she got herself a pair of shoes on Amazon, tap shoes, and in between her Zoom meetings, she tap dances. This is all about getting back to fun. What we're doing here is we are changing our hardwiring. And so this all sounds so subtle, you guys, but these tools are so powerful. You are changing the script that we live our life on and then wonder why we feel a certain way. We make over 30,000 subconscious decisions a day. They're subconscious, which means they're based on programming. Our mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers. It's not our life we're living when we do that. And so the most powerful thing that we can start to do today is create an awareness when you make a decision. The power of the pause before you react. You make a choice and you respond. You're no longer living someone else's life. You are creating your own. And every time we do that, that new path becomes easier and more clear. Our nervous system is super malleable. We can change at any time. And every time we practice and we flex these micro moments of connection, again, the power is in the 30-second choices when you don't grab your phone at the stoplight like you always do. When in that moment, instead you pause and you're like, oh, well, that's the old way. That's funny. Look at me creating awareness around this. I'm going to choose different. I'm going to say, what can I do right now that feels good? Play Aerosmith. Rock on. It's that, you guys. We're putting so much power in the big. The power is in the small and subtle. And I love the word practice. We're practicing this because we're not going for perfection. This is new. This is unfamiliar. This is a muscle that we are teaching our body to flex. And when we practice, we engage self-compassion. We're not expecting it to look a certain way. Brain syncing is really about taking our life from being lived unconsciously unconscious, having no idea why we're doing what we're doing and reacting. What we're starting to do is we're becoming consciously unconscious. What does that mean? Look at me, it's a stoplight. I don't even know why I'm grabbing my phone. That's what I used to do. I'm now aware of it. And if that's all you change, that's a win. And if you choose to still grab your phone, great, that's okay. You're aware of it. You're no longer wondering why your life feels the way that it feels. You're not a victim to your circumstances. You are creating the life by design. And then what ultimately happens is we become unconsciously conscious. We've carved this new pattern because we consistently do it in the micro moments, the 30-second choices throughout the day, that it becomes our default. I find fun in every moment without thinking about it. Do I experience stress? 100%. But do I know how to very easily find my way back? Yes, through these tools. Okay. More tools if you want them, because I want to really get to this case study to wrap up. Okay, one quick thing. So have you guys ever gone to these events and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, I can't wait, and then you go home and you're like, crap. So it's not you, it's the hardwiring. Your nervous system hates unfamiliar. And you have a part of your brain called your amygdala, and she is your security guard. And she's like way too caffeinated on crappy coffee. And so she's flagging every new thing that you do as danger, danger, danger. So when you're like, okay, what did that girl tell me? Go sit in that sit spot. And then what do I do? And you're sitting there and your brain's like, well, I got this to do and I should just get up and I should just move and I should just whatever. You're doing it right. You're not failing. That's your amygdala. Your amygdala is trying to talk you out of that new habit that you're here to create. But just doing it again and again makes it familiar. And it teaches your amygdala that this new state of fun is not only safe, it's so much better. It's so much better. And so your amygdala chills out, and you run the show. Nervous system integration does not happen in isolation. We need each other. This happens twice as fast when we do it together. When I was working these changes on my own, I did not have a community. It took me a really long time, and I felt very isolated. And I never want that for anyone, and so I created a community. I created an online community, and ideally, our communities are physical and in person. But what I have found is that when you help a woman create her community within herself, her real life community finds her because she's living authentically, and that's magnetic. I also love books as an anchor tool. I say books are the gateway to connection with yourself, because also when you go into your sit spot and you're in theta and your subconscious is so programmable, so you can make these changes in half the time by anchoring your morning and your nighttime with like choosing connection. And your amygdala is like, You can quiet the amygdala. You can use a crutch with a book. When you read across a page, it's a neurological exercise. It's called pursuits and saccades. You actually activate a part of your brain called the corpus callosum, which regulates your nervous system. So if you can't sit alone by yourself, grab a book. Every time I'm out and about, I have a book in my bag, in my car. I can easily read a book a month. I never thought I had time. But I fill those micro moments with a book. I regulate my nervous system just through reading. It changes the game. Okay, I know I'm over. Can I do this case study real quick? 1 minute? Okay, this is a woman I got really, really close to. This is a really important story I'm very passionate about. This woman was doing all the right things, supposedly. She was waking up at 5 a.m. and going to CrossFit. She was doing ketosis. She was doing fasting. Middle-aged woman, 3 kids, full-time career. Felt stressed, spread thin, burnout, was getting all these messages, I can't do it anymore. At the end of the day, when she was exhausted and she was making dinner for her family, and she heard that little voice saying, it's too much, I need a break, she didn't have a tool, and so she would have a glass of wine and just push through. She didn't think there was any other way. Eventually, that voice got louder. She felt like her spine was locking up one section at a time. She couldn't handle her kids' voices. She had to take ibuprofen and caffeine to think straight. She got lost on her way to work that was 2 miles from her home, a place she had went every day for 15 years. She told nobody. Nobody knew, because she just kept it going. The treatments we used, hyperbaric oxygen. We used funk med detox protocols, ketosis fasting. She noticed major improvements. She felt good, but she also noticed that she would still go into stress and burnout really easily. She felt that the to-dos were really overwhelming even though they were helping her. She would get home from work and her kids needed her. She would have to go in the chamber. So we incorporated the Regulate Your Rhythm, these tools. She changed up her morning routine. She stopped going to CrossFit and she started using red light and a book, connection. She pulsed beta workflow with microdosing connection. She turned her phone off at night. She noticed, feeling the best she ever felt. Way easier, less to do, no more headaches. She got more time, she was getting it all done, but loved the way that she was doing it. She got back to her. She changed her career. She moved her family to a tropical location with like-minded community, with similar values. She had less stress, more joy. She got asked to publish a book with Hay House. And she's about to go on an intense year-long work tour, and she says she's just getting started. That woman is me. Thank you, guys.